So Shrines taken, and that is also, again, a very standard map for the European scene. And we should be in for a good one there. Normally, Shrine fights are just awesome to watch, especially when we have the top teams going off against each other. And you can definitely see a few different approaches already to the entire meta and the drafting process. We were talking in our earlier series today how a lot of the picks and bans that we saw there were really targeted towards specific teams and were maybe a little bit more unorthodox, but going into this entire angle and the entire preference is going to shift completely.
I mean, let's talk about how refreshing it is to see Darkmok on a melee assassin. He's been playing so much Sonya, which I guess you can consider like an assassin bruiser. He's been playing Vala a lot too, but to see him on someone that can just make plays, dude, that made my day. Like, I am so ready to go into game number 2. That's what Darkmok does best. He shows up when you need him to, and he just destroys when the opportunity is presented.
Back to the roots. That's exactly where he's going there. But, well, we are going to jump into our draft now and going to find out if we're maybe going to get the melee assassin treatment on his part once again, or if he's going to be forced into one of those Vala positions, where he also shows some really sweet play. But as you said, he is the traditional melee assassin. That's where he came from. These are the heroes that he's the most comfortable on. But they also have so much overlap, as you could see in the last game too, and Rogue jumping on the Greymane there. So it's always awesome to see how versatile they are and how they approach a draft and also how they set up a game.
Yeah, and it's not me hating on like the Vala or Sonya gameplay. They're fantastic. It's just cool to see him play electric heroes, right? Like him on an Illidan would just make my day, right? Because it's the moments when he pulls out those heroes that he can just be so explosive for his team when need be. Okay, so let's move into it. Team Expert.
Also super fun to see that on his personal stream when he streams and he goes into the melee assassin, grinding out the Grandmaster plays there in Hero League. So it's pretty awesome when he commentates on it too, especially when he goes in a bit too deep and dies as a result. It's just it's slapstick. It's so awesome.
Make sure to check out Darkmok and his stream. Always a good one to go to. Him and Hasu, I think, have been streaming the most so far for Team Liquid as of late. So we'll check him out. But back to the game here. Expert will ban out the Dahaka. That's another hero that we've been seeing a lot of Team Liquid players play. Both Darkmok can pull it off. We've seen Nurk even pull off some Dahaka in the past. As you mentioned, the overlap and the pools are so great for them. And there she is. The Lili has been banned out.
Yeah, Lili is out. So Team Liquid already, we've been talking a lot about the double support meta, and Team Liquid already identifying who's the major culprit here. And are we really surprised that Team Experts are the ones that are throwing these combos out? Apparently, obviously not. So keep in mind that these teams are also scrimming a lot against each other. Obviously not directly before a major match in HGC is coming up, but normally you see no real rivalries. This is really just, okay, we all want to get better, we all want to scrim, we all want to improve. So they are just switching around. Most of the teams have 3 to 4 blocks every day where they scrim against different teams and trying to get some games in. And of course, at some point, you're pretty familiar with the ideas that an opponent has. If you prepare for a specific match, and you always attempt to go for a couple of pocket strategies where you can throw a bit of a curveball. But apparently, Team Liquid has faced this before and just said, you know what, any kind of Lili double support shenanigans, we don't really want to deal with this on this battleground in particular. Ban her out. And already, for both of the teams, despite that even, immediately focus on supports again. Malfurion and Oriel being picked up.
Yeah, Malfurion being taken up, which automatically takes away that Stitches Malfurion combo that we saw in game number 1, which was quite devastating for Team Expert. But Team Liquid, as a result, they get a darn good foundation. They have Oriel, they have Gul'dan. Team Expert respawn back here with Greymane and Anubrek, which is great counter picks. You have the Greymane Auto-Attacker and you have the Anubrek Dive-In, but so far, that sustain, that battery available for Team Liquid is here with that Oriel.
Yeah, and we might not really have that massively successful double support and as many double support comps as a lot of people were afraid we would have, but they're definitely having an impact on the drafts right now. Since with the Lili ban, that of course shakes things up already a bit. We haven't even talked about how how Tacita has been falling farther and farther off in the draft priority for these teams, and sometimes it's just completely disregarded. We have Oriel also taken super early, not only because he's a great combo with Gul'dan, but also because it's another hero that is taken away from Expert to make sure that that potential double support that they seem to be leaning to a little bit more right now, that Liquid doesn't have to face that.
And we're going to have our second Sonya ban here. We had one on the first map, and now here the second time by Team Liquid. Sonya, if you think about it, with double support is actually pretty darn scary. First off, you band-aid her cooldown, which is pretty much where you punish her, where she uses a whirlwind if you stun her out, and then you go in for the engage. But if you have double healers, you're able to get through that band-aid, that slight cooldown that is not available, and then Sonya just keeps moving in and is incredibly aggressive. And Team Liquid, obviously has seen that Expert has something underneath their plate, especially with a Thorough here, who can play a really good Sonya.
If anything, I'm a bit surprised that Liquid doesn't pick up the Sonya themselves.
Yeah.
So they banned her out in this case, but they, of course, since they had the next 2 picks, also had an opportunity to say, hey, we're going to get her for ourselves here, maybe combo that off with an Arthur's there at the front line, trying to take a solid position on the Shrine and that dominant position there. Something you could have definitely thought about. So they still need someone. One hero that I still want to see to make a comeback is Diablo on the side of Liquid. We saw Blumby just recently stream on his personal stream. He loves to play Diablo. He loves him especially on this map. And it is a fantastic hero to make a lot of plays. He just said, okay, right now it doesn't feel like it fits perfectly into the meta and into what we're doing here. But they are one of the teams that still believe in him making the difference in certain drafts. For now, they go into the Variant and the Lucio, so they are actually running a double support combo right now. Liquid showing that style here once again. But we still have a last pick to go for.
Still have a last pick here, and it looks like it's being shaped up for maybe a Vola here. Just gives the Lucio Ariel to be pretty aggressive. In terms of control, there's a lot of Malfurion and Nubrak, so that Illidan Dream I was hoping for, not going to be really a possibility with the Roots. The control, Cocoon even will be absolutely devastating to an Illidan engaged, but we'll see what we'll get from Team Liquid. Now, Expert needs to round out their composition. I actually wouldn't mind to see another tank here to give them that control you were mentioning around the Shrine. Johanna is available. I mean, them themselves could even maybe pick up a Diablo here, but I think Johanna might be one of the go-tos. Yeah.
In case that a few people out there don't really know why exactly Diablo gains extra momentum on a map like Infernal Shrines, it's pretty similar. It's one of those things where you attempt to just get these stuns into walls, and that really helps you, especially on the objective itself. It's pretty fantastic what you can do there with good positioning, and also, of course, an Apocalypse on the Shrine can get a lot of extra value. But we are having a lot of our questions and dreams answered. I mean, I don't even know where to start. Probius and Zeratul being picked for Team Expert. We know that ADRD, he is the Probius master. We've been mentioning the article, the guide that he has written for HGC, available at playheroes.com/HGC if you guys want to have a closer look at it. Playheroes.com/HGC, that is. And we also see, next to the Zeratul Probius, we have an Illidan all of a sudden taking for Team Liquid. So it looks like our prayers for a bit of Darkmok Illidan play have been listened to.
Darkmok Illidan coming out. Could it be the age of melee assassins again? One could hope so, because they're always so fun to watch. But I was a little bit concerned with Malfurion Root being up, Twilight Dream being something here for Nubrak. Even if he wants to go Cocoon, could lock down a support. They can focus down the Illidan overall. But it seems like the idea behind this composition is let Gul'dan be free and dropping out W's and E's. And Illidan just gets in and he just creates chaos left and right for the team.
Yeah, talking about Illidan creating chaos, we have Probius now. And Probius does not like Illidan. They're not really good friends. They tried a little bit. They hung out a bit together. But then at some point, I think Illidan was a little bit mean and Probius...
Yeah, he booped when he should have beeped.
Yeah, exactly. So Probius does not get behind that. So, yeah, it isn't pretty when the two of them meet. But yeah, jokes aside, Illidan will put a lot of pressure onto Probius. And we have actually seen something a lot more recently that we could see here too, depending on how ADRD plays the Probius. We could see Hunt. So that is actually becoming more and more of a thing that a lot of the Illidan plays that we are getting to see are moving away from the Metamorphosis. It depends a lot on what kind of team composition is being played. If you are only looking at the team fights, then it's usually much better for you to go into Metamorphosis. But if you're trying to, let's say, split push a little bit with the Illidan, get the off-lane experience, and you can hunt into the team fights, or if someone else has someone that splits off the team and tries to push like a Sagara with Nidus, or maybe a Probius, if ADRD plays that style, then Hunt can be used to just move onto those lanes real quickly, get an isolated kill, and then move back to the team.
Well, let's see if we're going to hunt or if we're going full meta. It's time to watch Illidan and Probius face off on Infernal Shrines.
Game number 2 is on. Team Liquid is under pressure as they are aiming for a 3-0 victory. They have 1 map win so far. Can they make it 2 here on Infernal Shrines? Going up against Team Expert, we have Hazops on Gul'dan to the left, Nurok on Oriel, Blumby on Variant, Darkmok on Illidan, and Lucio dropping the beats with the help of Splendor.
Dropping the beats and dropping the cereal on the right side, and the red team, Team Expert, will be here. Bad Mini will be playing a Nubrak. We're going to have ADRD on his boy Probius, a Thorough Angel on the Zeratul, and he was explosive on Friday when it came to that hero. Nick on Greymane, and finally, we're going to be having our teams running towards the middle of the fight. Let's go ahead and see how it breaks out.
It's super cool to see just comps like this coming in, where you look at a hero like Illidan and the big question is, okay, is that going to be a very team fight heavy thing over the shrines? Are we going to see the metamorphosis because of it? Are they going to try and just split Illidan off or deal with Probius on lanes and spec into Hunt instead with the double support that they have right now? There's definitely options. This is the beauty of the talent system in Heroes of the Storm, that adjustments to your own composition but also to what you are facing are always possible mid-game.
ADRD will be a nuisance to deal with too on that Probius to be pushing in that bottom lane. The early game is actually quite beneficial for the Probe. Within a couple of Ws and a couple of Qs, which you could do pretty safely, you clear out lanes heavily. There's going to be a couple things to consider as we move into the next Shrine phase. Will we be having Expert giving up on the Shrine and allowing Probius to soak double lanes, which means we could have Illidan trying to match him and maybe get a kill or two, or will we have a full-out brawl around the Shrine phase, which Probius can be strong in too? Really, the early game, it feels like, is in a spot where Expert can be pretty darn solid.
Yeah, they can definitely have a very solid performance there, especially if Thero Angel brings the pain with Zeratul, and that is something that he's going to try and do. Later on, he has to be careful about that potential counterplay with the Horrifier on the side of Gul'dan if he engages in. That could be a kill, especially with Varian. To be honest, for Zeratul, this is a bit of a rough game. Going up against Horrify and Taunt after level 10 is not going to make it easy on the Thero Angel to get the pressure on and to net kills for his team.
And then if the Hunt comes in, suddenly, if Zeratul uses mobilities to go for an aggressive play, can't get the kill, Illidan could chase him down with the Hunt and get that kill too. So yeah, lots of things for Thero to play around, but if anyone has confidence, it should be him. His Zeratul play again on Friday was a legendary. Can he continue that trend today? Hasuaz and Nurek are trying to make their way to the very top here of the Shrine that Illidan has already started here. It's going to be an Arcane Punisher.
And while we already see Illidan on the Shrine, there's still a bit of a battle raging in the mid lane where we saw for a moment Lucio attempt to just push Anubarak back so that extra damage could happen. But Darkmook is doing his thing. He went for Immolation on level 4 and is now in a great position where he can just make those extra plays against the opponent and get the extra value. Immolation, of course, level 1, not level 4. And level 4, we see the standard being taken here for him with a Friend of Hope.
Damon Strike hits on Bad Benny here. He will get poked on out. Illidan continues to keep his lead slightly ahead here for Team Liquid, 17-12. And Zeratul and Probius have committed to not clearing out the Shrine. They are rotating between middle and bottom, and Expert has gained a pretty nice lead in terms of experience due to those pushes.
Yeah, exactly. Probius is doing what ADRD loves to do with him, just split pushing here. Thero, whoa, nice ADRD with an attempt to drop Darkmook with the help of the Thero Angel. Didn't quite work out for them, but it was definitely a very smart choice to go for that particular setup and that particular angle here. Still up at the top, we see that Shrine in play, 33 taken. Nurok is low and he is down as the entire team of Expert, with the exception of Probius, collapses onto Oriel to deliver the first kill in this game.
Big pickup, but still a big uphill battle for Team Expert to fight here if they want to take away this Punisher phase. It is 34-19. They start frantically clearing out whatever they can. They also get a pick here on Gul'dan. Team Expert getting kills.
Yeah, job well done here, and they are way ahead in experience thanks to that Probius push earlier and Zeratul soaking the lane. They have an early level 7, and they are really trying to get that first Punisher. Team Liquid has 35 stacks and is attempting to increase that, but it looks more and more like Expert might have a good chance to make it happen.
That they do, 37-36. Team Expert has more folks here to clear it out. Lucia's going for it. There it is, the Punisher. And the experience lead goes to the favor of Expert.
Liquid with a bit of a mistake here in the early game. They were very confident that they would not be able to lose that Punisher anymore. And the Arcane Punisher is going to push through the top lane now. That is going to be a lot of damage against the structures here. Punisher a little late on the jump in, goes in, and Bad Benny does the same thing. Jumps right after him and starts with a stun.
Punisher jumps in, it's going to help out. Now Illidan in the middle is having trouble as he's dealing with the Zeratul. He will get away with half his HP, soaking 2 of these lanes, while Team Liquid is frantically trying to clear top and get level 7.
Yeah, level 7 is finally in for them with their talent, and they are looking to maybe even get a kill here, but Expert is already on the way back. Great start for the team in red. Expert really showing up on the map now, but of course, 10 is going to change everything, the entire dynamic.
Yep, 10 changes everything. Taunt being there, Gul'dan with the Horrify, even Ariel Detainment Strikes would be deadly enough to stop the teams from going in. Also, if Zeratul goes in for a hard engage, you always have the possibility of Aegis to save the Illidan or, of course, Gul'dan that will be dived upon. 9-7. Expert continues to lead. They will now grab mercenary camps, and Liquid is going for an aggressive 5-man play.
Yeah, Liquid, they want to get some kills here to make up for that experience deficit that they're currently experiencing here. And that would be great for them if they can get a few kills, but it doesn't really look like this. Also, when we're talking about Probius, we have so far a pretty big focus on the side of ADRD for the Disruption Pulse. Taking the Echo Pulse on 1 and then later the Particle Accelerator on 7. The fight over here still continuing though, with Probius playing a really big role also for the rotations on the game, by the way, with all those pylons that are being set up.
Yeah, middle lane is set up. It's going to be hard for the crew to move in. Varian in particular will get spotted before he can jump on top of Probius. And 10 has been hit. Expert will play as safe as they, or not Expert, Team Liquid will play as safe as they can, while Expert plays aggressive. They move in for the mercenary camps of Team Liquid. They grab it here on the left side, while Darkmog is spending his time grabbing pushes to the top.
Pylon overcharge, and there's Lucio in the middle, blown up as Expert moves in with a 10 advantage. They are so massively ahead thanks to all the structures they have taken down. They also got 3 kills, granted, but it's really just all the damage that Probius has been doing in the early game, because he had that space available to him.
Oh,
so
Hasselhoff's dead.
Yeah, Hasselhoff is in a lot of trouble, yeah. Bad Benny is going to help at the range to confirm the kill against Gul'dan. Nurok actually keeping him alive for a little bit longer, but in the end, of course, that doesn't matter anymore. And they're going for Kirsten for just a second, but Liquid still doesn't have 10.
Still don't have 10. They're hoping to maybe get their fort to help out in this fight as they move in. Illidan's at the top there. They know that Probius is not here, so as long as they keep eyes on Nick, they should be good to go. Splinter and Nurok move in and keep up with the harassment, but 10 is what Team Liquid needs.
Yeah, they definitely need their 10. 10 is changing everything for them. They can go in with either Metamorphosis or Hunt as Darkmog falls at the top lane. Again, 5 kills against 0. Both ults would have value depending on how you are trying to utilize them here, but it's all about the taunt. It's about the potential resurrection for Auriel in this double support combo. Having, of course, the shield barrier, then Gul'dan with a Horrify. The tools that they get, the power spike on 10 is insane on their part.
That it is, but so far Team Expert has been doing everything right. They're going in for a second Punisher here. They have started. It's 15-16 here to 0. Yep. Team Liquid has 10. You're going to start moving in. I'm looking at Illidan. He has yet to pick his heroic. Yep. Aegis is the choice for Auriel. Illidan
holds his heroic back. Horrify is not in play. Is he going to go for the Metamorphosis, or are we going to see him jump in deep? Makes the choice. Metamorphosis is going for the standard here. We see ADRD participating in the team fight, so no need for Illidan to split and hunt on lanes. Tries to make sure that they can win these battles. It's still 2 versus level 10 versus 10. 20 against 30 stacks on the minion count. Liquid looking for an angle to engage. We see already Expert moving in with a quick cocoon. The Horrify is out.
They're also going to have Blumby on the left side, can go in for a taunt, but the Punisher has been won by Team Expert. They move in for Blumby, who gets hit here. A Thorough goes in for Singularity Spike, will not get the kill, but the Punisher moving in on the middle lane is going to be a deadly threat.
Expert once more on the move. Level 12.5 for them. They go through the mid lane and they take the first fort. This is looking more and more like that level 13 Spike for them is even gonna drop during this push. And let's see if Team Liquid can take the Punisher down fast enough. They should be able to. It's still early on in the game, 8.5 minutes in, but the level 13 is ready for Expert and they are still pushing. And ADRD in particular is all the way down to the bot lane, threatening another fort as the rest of the team moved to the top and does the same thing there.
Yep, as Probius, you don't really have to worry about that push coming your way if the hunt didn't get picked. And with the hunt not being here, Probius will take the opportunity to grab mercenary camps, push him middle, push him bottom, and just be a complete thorn in the side of Team Liquid. Now, do think about it, as we move to the late game, Probius, with the power spikes of majority of these Gul'dan, Illidan, and such, he has such a low health bar that if he ever gets picked off, that's where he starts to fall off, that late game scenario. So Team Expert will have to keep an eye out for that, and Probius may have to start split pushing and moving for the fight. Hasselhoff on the left here does get engaged. Void Prism pops out. Now Aegis is available. Will Nurok hit it here?
Nurok goes for the cocoon, tries to get down. Auriel already with the Aegis. Lucio is down, and so is Gul'dan. A double kill for Expert as they move in. It's a 5 versus 3, and this fight is not over just yet. They're trying to go in again. Illidan is able to escape, and Blumby walks away safely.
Nurok having a hard time dealing with the pressure here in the middle, trying to save his Gul'dan as well. Now Lucio and Gul'dan will be back in 2 seconds. They'll be able to help defend here. The keeps have not fallen yet, but the keep wall open in the middle by the Mercenaries and Team Expert. Blumby's looking for something here. Bad Benny not giving him the opportunity though. will be able to walk out. Mercenaries being grabbed, and Expert continues to control the map. Everything is red in terms of what needs to be grabbed.
Liquid is on the back for then a rough spot. 0 kills against 7. That 10 was a huge power spike, and the whole idea is to combine the taunt and the horrify to get these kills. But one of the things they're really lacking a bit is just reliable burst damage on a target. They're having a tough time to kill anybody, and that is going up against a single support Malfurion. Even Zeratul himself is having such a huge impact. Again, an isolated warrior on the lane, and that is what cannot happen. This cannot happen to Liquid. They are losing Varian now. He's alone on the map, too far away from the rest of his team. The double support just having no impact in these situations, as Expert is getting kill after kill against isolated targets.
Yep, Expert keeps finding picks and they're looking for another. We're going to have Metamorphosis used here from Team Liquid. Darkmok will survive for now, but 13 still half a level away. And when they get 13, Expert's going to be close to 16. They're still going to have that talent lead.
Exactly. Expert is aiming for 16 at this point, and we have another Punisher about to be taken by Expert since the Shrine is active on the map, and Liquid is desperately attempting to go for their next talent, but they're so far behind at this point that it's very unlikely that they can take this. So they are now in a position where they're just playing passive the entire time. They're saying, guys, just wait it out. Wait for the experience. It's going to be rough, but we have to do it or we are going to get blown to pieces here.
Team Liquid making a play here on the bottom right to take out turrets so they can get 13 for themselves to have defense against Expert when they push in for this top lane with a Punisher that they're going to grab here. Osuwups joins in to help clear out the top lane. 13 is finally hit, and Illidan will pull away, but Zeratul is on his way down for a gank. Can they do damage to Darkmok?
Darkmok is losing a lot of hit points to Ethereal Angel, but Zeratul is not trying to really go for the kill. Bit of free damage pushed them in, pressure kept up. That's all that they're trying to do here. Keep Team Liquid on the back foot. Always push them back in, and now Expert also getting the Frozen Punisher up at the top lane. They're going to move through that. We have a bit of an anchor position here for Nuburak, trying to make sure that nobody is coming in from the side. Sees if he maybe himself can jump in, and now the Punisher is on his way. They're going to break through that wall as if it's nothing. Zeratul in the mid lane is looking for that flank. He's looking for that Void Prison.
Looking at Nurok here, there's 3 people grouped up. Gonna have the big Impale going off. Osuwup's low on health. Illidan diving in to look at a threat for a couple of seconds here. No one really buying that though, as Team Expert has a 4-level lead, 17-13. Blummy frantically trying to bait the Punisher down to the middle lane. Want to make sure that it's in a place where the keep can focus it down. Expert will take the keep and back up.
It's really a composition that is hoping for momentum, and they never got this. They lost way too many heroes in the early game. The level 10 was their biggest chance to come back into this, but right now it looks just absolutely rough. Expert is making no mistakes here anymore. They dominate the map, they control it, they play with the vision, they always hide, they take down the walls to make sure Liquid does have no vision whatsoever, and they always make sure that they are jumping immediately on heroes that show alone on lane. So there's this constant threat against Liquid and that fear, what happens if I'm trying to move out to soak experience? Is Zeratul going to be there again? Is that Nuburak going to engage as well and going to dive deep? And this is one of the biggest problems that they're currently facing here.
Team Liquid is currently down, but not quite out. They need to get 16 at some point. Do remember, if they can win a team fight, get a Punisher moving, and finally start opening up forts and keeps, which they've killed none of, by the way, yet. They do have an Illidan, so they can go on to core.
And it comes also down to the fact that we have Underking even taken for Nuburak, so it's really that dive potential, and them being afraid to being engaged upon that is a problem. Hazops is solo, Ethereal Angel nearly take him out. He himself in trouble, and Zeratul down, tried to escape here by using the Void Prison even, not able to do that. Now all of a sudden there's a huge opportunity for Team Liquid, a lot of distance to safety for Expert, and Illidan is starting to move in.
They even get the photon overcharge popped up. Will be taking it for his team. They will start to clean out the pylons. Darkmok wants to chase, but he cannot. At some point, though, someone from Team Liquid needs to head to the middle lane and clear out the mercenary camps that are pushing in. They will do so, but that kill is important. It gave them a nice chunk of experience, which gets them to 16.
Yeah, the kill was important and really helped them, but it would have been so much better if they could have followed up. But as you said, there's just so much threatening to them, especially with Probius covering the retreat here. So they are still in a tough situation, but as you said, 16, that's where it's at. So now we have Liquid on 16, and 16 versus 18 means that we have the same talent for the two teams. This is an opportunity for Team Liquid, and that is coming at a time it couldn't be any better. The Shrine is active, Liquid has the 16, it's a huge power spike for Lucio too, of course. and this is a chance where they can maybe finally start to make those plays.
Yep, it's a big point too that Probius will not have Photon Overcharge for 15 seconds and Void Prison for 25 seconds. Team Liquid, if they rotate down here, they can force a fight quickly and start getting their engagements and maybe pick them off before the Heroics come in.
Also, now the Wrath of Heaven taken for Oriel, so we're going to see that spell power increase. This could really help with the poke that Gul'dan has available to him. Massive push at that top lane thanks to the camp that Expert has taken earlier. That's going to threaten the core eventually, but for now Liquid is trying to rush that Immortal out. They're still on the point here, always making these moves. Splendor covering the side a little bit, willing to go for that immediate boop if Zeratul appears, pushes him back, and still Liquid looking for that angle, going for Bad Benny. Variant so far, looking for a taunt.
Gul'dan and crew got 36 out of 9 in terms of minion control. The Tainment Strike does hit. We're seeing Nurak being focused down. He does burrow out, but the Punisher grabbed by Team Liquid.
Great cleanse on the side of Malfurion. Super important here. He himself not affected by the fear, and then we have the cleanse right away. And Nubrug is able to get out. Liquid pushing at the bottom. Illidan helping back at the base because catapults were already on the core. Down here with 4 heroes, we're seeing Team Liquid pushing in, trying to close the gap in experience. Void Prison comes out as Aethero moves in. Cocoon right after that. And the double kill with Gul'dan falling and Lucio following suit. Oriel, after the Cocoon is over, gets taken out, and it's a 1 versus 5 as Bloomion Variant tries to make an escape happen, which is obviously not going to work. Illidan showing at the top lane to defend, triggered an immediate reaction from Expert.
Team Liquid here leaves 4 people. They keep pushing in the bottom right corner, and then they group up for a Void Prison. The moment Illidan walks away, do you maybe just not go for this push? This is an easy call for Team Expert. They drop the Cocoon, they have the Void Prison. This is a 5v3 setup. Then when Cocoon pops, they have 5v2 setup because they killed out the Gul'dan.
Expert, Liquid was desperate at this point. They knew they need to make something happen, or 20 would hit for Expert with a 3-level lead. This is going to be a 1-1 in the series as Expert take down Liquid's core on map number 2.
Expert tying it up 1-1 here, and Team Liquid in their 3-0 dream has now just fallen out there, but they still have some things to worry about. But for now, the matchup is what they need to look at.
Okay, but what does this actually mean now? We've been talking a lot about how important the 3-0 victory is. Why is that the case? It's because in a particular tie situation with Fnatic and Dignitas, the first thing we're going to look at are the 3-0s. And with with Team Liquid winning today with a 3-0 and their last match with a 3-0 as well, they would be ahead in that count as long as Dignitas doesn't win with a 3-0 victory against Fnatic, which seems unlikely. So now that Team Liquid has lost a map, what does that mean? That means basically that they have more or less given up control, so to say. They themselves can, given the victory of Dignitas tomorrow that they're hoping for, not edge out that win immediately. So they have to hope for also Fnatic or Team Dignitas to drop maps against the other opponents they have. So it's not that they have no chances of hitting the #1 spot anymore, but it's getting a lot more complicated for them at this point. So they need to try and make this at least a 3-1, but it's definitely complicating the situation for them, and they have to try, at least they have to hope for also the contenders for the #1 spot to also mess up a little bit.
Yeah, in the last 2 weeks, they've lost the driver's seat, and now they're in a spot where they're in the passenger seat, and they have to wait for Fnatic and Dignitas to make the certain moves for them to have a chance. Let's go ahead and get ready for game number 3. The series continues.